Welcome back. All right, Brandt Clarke. So I want to again. I'm still waiting on the book from Hockey Prospect, which will have all kinds of in-depth notes on everybody. But with the top draft picks eligible for this year's draft, you can find information on them. And Brandt Clarke's one that we've heard about going back a couple of years. I've heard his name going back a couple of years. He was seen as being in the mix for the number one spot. Now, Owen Power, Matty Beniers, probably 1 and 2. I'm wearing Detroit because honestly, from 3 on, they could go in almost any order. In fact, Beniers could end up going at 1, Power could go at 2. It could happen. And Brandt Clarke, 6'2", 188 centimeters, 190 pounds, 86 kilos. He's got NHL projectable size. And, in a time where, smaller defensemen are definitely getting a lot more attention, the guys who are 6 feet and over usually end up being the ones that lift the cup. So for Brandt Clarke, the strengths to his game are puck handling, passing, strength, and speed. He's ranked number 7 by the Hockey News. He's ranked number 3 by Elite Prospects, and he's number 6 on TSN's list. So, sure. Again, there's no consensus once you get outside the top 2. And even then, the consensus for 2, maybe, depending on who you ask. So, the interesting thing with Clarke was that, of course, the OHL didn't play this year. And at a stage where it might play, it might not play, who knows, maybe they play, maybe they don't, Brandt Clarke decided, I'm gonna go to Europe. So he went over to Slovakia, plays 26 games, 5 goals, 10 assists, 15 points. Now this will make him attractive to scouts because now he's played against men. So he wasn't playing against junior age kids. It didn't give him a chance to really prop up his stats. Played in Europe, and he played well. So that's going to be a key thing. If you're looking for a defenseman that might be ready to step into a lineup sooner, Clarke may be the answer. And again, for me with Detroit, I think they could use another top-notch defenseman, right? And he's seen as a smart player, high hockey IQ, very good offensive instincts. Didn't look out of place against men, so he had a hard time at first, but he adjusted quickly. So again, that's to his benefit going into the draft. The big ice surface forced him to improve his skating. Here's where it gets interesting in the reports I was reading. Some reports say he's an absolutely fantastic skater, and some say, the mechanics need some work. So playing on the large ice surface in Europe meant he had to get better at his skating. But it's seen now as being one of his strengths. No matter which report you're reading, it's now seen as being one of his strengths. Right shot defenseman, high upside. So if you have a team you're cheering for that's like, hey, we could use a right-handed defenseman with high upside, most of them would take this. But for me with Clarke, he definitely looks like he's ready to come in and play. Potentially, I won't say this year. This year's draft class, I'd be kind of surprised if they come in this year. And if he was drafted by Detroit, that'd be really surprising. Take a look at Seider. They've kept Seider in Europe. They've let him develop. And now odds are he comes over next year and gets a chance to be a regular for the Detroit Red Wings. I would think they take their time with Clarke. Now, what's interesting, too, is he's seen as a guy who creates plays, rushing defenseman, so he jumps into the play and he can create it if there's no play there. And his brother Graham was drafted 2 years ago by the Devils. So there's the possibility that the Devils pick up Graham Clarke's brother, or they pick up Jack Hughes' brother. New Jersey has a couple of different brothers to pick from. I have a feeling that Luke Hughes probably goes before Brandt Clarke, but Clarke could be a fantastic pickup. I have seen, again, he's number 3 on Elite Prospects. I've seen mock drafts where he goes as low as 9. And if he goes at 9, that means he goes to Vancouver. If that happens, and that's during, the live stream of the draft, you're going to see some celebrating from me. If he ends up going 9th to Vancouver, because they do need another defenseman. And I think that'd be fantastic. Now, if they trade the pick and that ends up being the guy who goes to whatever team gets that pick, you may see a different reaction from me during the live stream. The one thing with Brandt Clarke that I saw in the reports I was reading, the defensive side of his game is a little bit behind the offensive side. That is not really that unusual with offensive defensemen 18 years of age or younger. The defensive side of their game may very well end up being an issue. But that is the kind of thing that you can coach and change. You can coach and change that. You can't necessarily coach the offensive instincts. That players got it or they don't. The defensive side you can learn. So I don't think that'll put anybody off, but it will be fascinating to see where Clarke goes. Does he go closer to 3? Does he end up falling all the way down to 9th? Does he go 5th or 6th? And again, there's a lot of really interesting prospects in this year's draft. So I just want to, make sure I've done videos on the prospects and keep these going. One every few days, I would figure, while we're discussing the top 10s. And then as we get closer to the end of June, more information should be available for when I get into the more obscure of the picks, especially considering how wide open this draft is. So where do you think Brandt Clarke goes? Who should pick him up? And is he going to be a steal of this draft? What do you think he's going to do? Let me know in the comment section below how you feel about his prospects as an NHLer, and would he look good as a Red Wing, or should he go somewhere else? Let me know your thoughts. Hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I'll talk to you again soon.